All right, what is up, everybody? It's your boy Croissant. How y'all guys doing? How y'all doing? It's been about a week since I made my last video. I took a little bit of a week-long vacation, so to say, after my birthday, taking care of, mainly myself, but of course some personal things that I just had to deal with. But now I am back, and today I want to talk about a game that I've actually been obsessed with, guys, for the past few days. That's right, I'm talking about Palworld. The game that took the world by storm in January 2024. Pokemon with guns, people called it. And I want to talk about my experience with the game so far after about, like 15 hours. It is just so funny that I'm starting this game right on the cusp of Pokemon Legends ZA coming out too. Because when you compare the combat from Palworld to Legends ZA, you can kind of see similar comparisons, right? In the direction that, Pokemon combat is trying to go in its latest installment. Now, by no means is Palworld the same as a Pokemon game, or even the same as a Legends game, because all three of these are very different kinds of games. Right, Palworld is not your average catch a Pokemon, level it up, fight some trainers kind of monster tamer game. It's just not. At its core, it is a base building game with a ton of customization, city building, and management features like growing crops and cutting down trees and all this stuff. I mean, the comparison to Pokemon is in the pals, right? That's the true comparison. These Pokemon-like creatures that you can catch and battle with as well. You're going to be able to put them to work. Get a job. Have them complete certain tasks in your home base, like cutting down trees, harvesting crops. And I will say, the pals do look great, guys. There are some that are, sort of unique, but there are some that are definitely not that unique. Especially, we're getting to like the 10th anniversary or the 10th generation of Pokemon, guys. We're going to start to see some similarities, right? Pokemon has covered so many different ideas, but Palworld manages in some cases to create some cool and unique designs, but the uniqueness of the game is not in the pals itself. Now, Palworld is an open world game. The world itself feels very similar to like a Breath of the Wild, and it feels like a more detailed Scarlet and Violet overworld. Right? They've created different environments like a grassy area, a snowy area, and then taking advantage of the paraglider in Palworld, and they create these areas with like vastly different elevations. There are some pockets of the overworld that I've seen in like the first 15 hours or so, where there's just not much going on. There's just not a lot going on, but for the most part, there's typically like enemy bases, larger, tougher pals to fight, and then other chests, treasures, pal eggs, things to find in the overworld just by taking some extra time to go and look. Not to mention, this is a base building game, guys. So gathering resources is a huge part of this game, and those resources are going to be found everywhere. For now, my base building is solely based off of function and to further my character and like make my pals busted. I will worry about decorative placements, planning, mapping, all that stuff to make a dream base later in the game. But the amount of variety in the buildables themselves, guys, is insane. Right? Every time you level up, or complete a task, side quest, you gain a technology point. And these technology points can be used to unlock new buildings, new armor, new weapons that you can craft, right? Because of course you're going to need to bring the necessary materials to build whatever you unlock at the workbench. But this is where the play styles start to come up. The different play styles start to arise, right? Where you can focus on building the best looking base as quickly as possible. Or you can focus on making your pals as strong as possible, right? Using their abilities in combat. Or you can focus on just material farming and creating a bunch of mines and mills to gather as much materials as possible, right? Maybe not the best looking, but you are micromanaging and min-maxing to a T. One aspect about this game, and I didn't expect to like it this much, guys, was the combat, right? Have you ever wanted to shoot a Pikachu on steroids in the face with a crossbow while your Vulpix from Temu is raining down hellfire? This game is for you guys. I mean, now that we've seen what the combat is going to look like for Pokemon Legends ZA, I can't help but make some comparison. Because you're throwing out your pal, right? You don't have complete control over their movement, but you have control whether they're out of the ball attacking or not. And that's one thing Legends ZA is not going to do, right? They're not going to let you return the Pokemon to the ball mid-battle. And there were instances, right? I was fighting this overgrown Pikachu in Palworld, right? And I'll show some footage in the background. I would backflip, like dodge roll out of the way, avoid the attack, shoot him in the face with the crossbow, throw my pal out, right? And then my pal would get aggroed. He would get targeted by the fat Pikachu. And so I could immediately return the pal to the ball, avoiding that attack, and then resend him out to do damage once that attack is over. It is a combat loop that I don't think I've ever tried. I haven't tried anything similar to it in any single game, honestly. And obviously, I don't think Pokemon is going to let the trainer shoot the Pokemon in the face with a crossbow anytime soon. So with Mega Evolutions coming out, I'm very interested to see the variety the combat loop has to offer in Pokemon Legends ZA. Now there are a ton of things to unlock in Palworld, and the game it's still in early access. This game is receiving free large updates, but also some backlash from Nintendo, right? And like the recent lawsuits over the whole capture and release with a ball mechanic. It is a great game, and it's a great game to play with something in the background, right? Maybe catch up on some croissant videos, And I do love the fact that I can zone out and sort of focus on base building, or grinding out materials for half an hour, 45 minutes to unwind, and I still feel like I made progress. But then you have to, lock in for the more serious fights. Really prep out and plan out how you're going to approach a certain enemy. I'm going to do my best to get as far as I can in this game, at least, beat all the bosses, build a nice base, but I'm not the type, guys, to obsess over like base building mechanics, create these like elaborate formations. That's just not me. Again, I mainly build for function, right? So it's really interesting picking up Palworld for the first time in 2025, right before Legends ZA launches, and I'm interested to see how my perspective changes once ZA arrives, and how I look back at Palworld once I start playing ZA. As always, though, I appreciate y'all watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you have not. I really appreciate it. Love you all. Stay tuned for the next video. As always, I will see y'all soon. Peace.